Family Structure and Crime. Valeria Costa, Sabrina Mendoza, Perry Sieg, and Madison Studer. Our thesis is that single-parent households and poverty are indeed a factor for criminal rates. Single parents have increased by 8 times since 1960, and some believe that they are not responsible for criminal rates. One man disagrees with our thesis, Philip Cohen. He believes that single parents, especially mothers, aren't the only reason for crime rates. I think single mothers deserve an apology, and family structure and parenting were not the only explanations offered for the epidemic of murder. He has graphed homicides in D.C. with single mother households. The rate of single mothers has stayed fairly steady, while the homicide rates dropped drastically. Therefore, he decides that these two factors do not have a link. The nuclear family. This is what people believe a family to be: a married mother and father with children. Instead, most families today are not nuclear. 4% of children are living with their grandparents and consider their grandparents as their legal guardians. The American Psychological Association says that today we see all sorts of single-parent families, headed by mothers, headed by fathers, and headed by a grandparent raising their grandchildren. In 2017, 4% of children were living with grandparents for a number of over 2 million. Most children who do not have a standard nuclear family tend to live in poverty and are typically of a minority race. Those not a part of a nuclear family have many stressors for both the parent and child. Together, they tend to spend less quality time due to the parent having to work one or more jobs. Because of this, the parent often falls behind on household duties, such as dishes and laundry. Though the parent works one or more jobs, they still might not make enough to support their family. As for the child in these homes, they tend to be unnecessarily angry and fall behind in school. Sometimes these children have a harder time trying to make friends, affecting them socially and psychologically. Sarah Damask writes about single mothers in poverty, often because of their race. Minority women are more likely to be working in jobs that pay below poverty wages. Therefore, single mothers don't have the funds to support themselves and their child. She also states that Black and Hispanic single mothers often begin motherhood at a younger age than whites and Asians, which often delay or completely eliminates educational progress beyond high school, decreasing their cumulative earnings. What she means is that minority women are more likely to struggle more in being a single mother due to their lack of education, which will not get them good paying jobs to be able to support themselves or their child. Patrick Fagan says that high crime neighborhoods are characterized by high concentrations of families abandoned by fathers. He says that it's not race or poverty, but it's family structure. Illegitimacy is the key factor. It is the absence of marriage that explains the incidence of high crime in a neighborhood among whites as well as blacks. He says that without a father, a child is more likely to be involved in criminal activities, and without a father, a child is stereotypically and uncontrollably angry as starting as young as 5 years old and struggles with making friends by the first grade. He says that 90% of children in stable homes are not delinquents. In conclusion, factors involving criminal rates and tendencies mostly fall under the family structure. Without the nuclear family, children are exposed to poverty and lack of psychological needs. Some say that criminal rates cannot be blamed on single mothers because the statistics don't match. Instead, it is the lack of a structured home that leads to criminal tendencies.